Hello, welcome to the show. I'm Gigi Kopilak, and my guest today is one of my favorite people and guests. She is Leslee Asch. She is the director of Silvermine Guild for Artists. I think I'm saying it wrong. Did I get it right this time?
You got part of it right. It's Silvermine Guild Arts Center, which is made up of the Silvermine Guild of Artists, the Silvermine School of Art, and the Silvermine Galleries gift shop, and all our outreach programs, art partners.
It's a lot to talk about today, I want to just say you were here once before. With you were a curator for a show at the Katona Museum, a puppet show at the Katona Museum, which was kind of your background. And now here you are working at Silvermine, which is another perfect fit for you.
Yes, I actually think it is. I'm very happy there. And I'm very grateful to the Katona Museum of Art because not only did I really enjoy doing that show, it was wonderful. Everybody there was fantastic to work with. I got to meet you during the process, which was great. And I learned that there's a great, vibrant arts community outside of Manhattan, which I'm very happy to continue in. So I think it really did lead me to Silvermine, and it's a good fit for me.
We have to find out now, what is Silvermine? Should we start with the history of Silvermine? You've mentioned a lot of things that are going on there.
Yeah.
So let's go back. It started way back.
Well, it's actually a very exciting time because 2012 is going to be our 90th birthday.
Wow.
But it actually traces even earlier. Solon Borglum was a sculptor of major note,
we have one of the images here.
We do. We actually have a couple of images. We have an image of him outside of his studio barn, which he went to, and as far as I understand it, he moved to the area of Silvermine in 1906. Okay. And then by 1908, he was already doing exhibitions of local artists. He was gathering a whole community of artists around him, which they would then do an annual exhibition. I think we have an image of the sign for that, which is kind of great.
So did he's not at his home? He started something separate from where
where he worked was a couple of miles from where we are now.
Okay.
On Borglum Road. He had a studio and worked there, and he died very early. He died prematurely at age 53. And when he died in 1922, which is the date that we really trace the beginning of the official beginning of the Guild, when he died in 1922, the group of artists who had come around him and been inspired by him realized they needed to get more organized and become more official. So in 1922, they really began the Silvermine Guild of Artists, and then in 1924, 2 years later, they officially incorporated and started the School of Art.
And bought the property and made buildings?
Well, yeah, they actually moved to the property in 1924, and the barn, which the oldest building on the property, was moved to the property, I just learned recently, in 1922. We actually don't know how old it was prior to that, but we know it's been on that property. Do we have an image of that barn?
Is that one of the images that we have? Is that the school?
Yeah, if you look at the central galleries image, that actually is it. I think we don't have an isolated
Is it the school building?
It's right next to that. Okay. It's right next to that. Okay. But it's in that same little complex.
The ceramics? Is it the ceramics building?
No, that came later too. But we do have.
So you have many buildings there.
Many buildings at this point. There was only one initially when the property was gotten in 1924. And Solon Borglum Sculptures. He is known for many of his bronzes, many of which are at the New Britain Museum of Art. But he also did a lot of stone sculpture. Several of them are actually at St. Mark's Church in the city, which I had seen for many years and have worked with them. And then to come there and realize that was actually Solon Borglum's work, which was kind of exciting. All these roads come together. I think we have an image of him sculpting also. There's an unfinished piece that I'm very happy to say we now have gracefully placed in front of the galleries. And unfortunately, I don't have that image, so you're going to have to come up and see us.
Absolutely. You have to go and see. Let's just say Silvermine is the name of the town. It's in Connecticut.
Well, Silvermine's actually not a town. Silvermine's actually a section of 3 towns. Silvermine, which, as far as I can tell, maybe there was a silver mine. There was never any silver that anybody talks about. But Silvermine itself is a sliver of property that incorporates parts of 3 towns, parts of New Canaan, which is where we're based, Norwalk, and Wilton. So it is actually sort of a subsection of all
I just want to
3.
clear up, if you put it in the GPS, what do you put down? Because I put
To get to us?
Yeah.
New Canaan.
New Canaan,
Yeah.
Okay.
Our address is in New Canaan.
Okay, I thought I put, when I was gone, I thought I put in Silvermine.
But if you go around the corner, it's going to be Norwalk. So we're in a funny little spot there, which is great.
It's great because it's beautiful. You have a beautiful pond there.
It's beautiful.
You have.
It's 4.5 acres. It's a beautiful facility, and we're going to be working to really. Although we have our website now, we're actually working to upgrade it so that you can really get a sense from it of our grounds. And is this okay to talk about a little bit about some of the plans here?
Yeah, please, please.
One of the things, because the property is so beautiful and because it was started by a sculptor, it seems really appropriate that we're going to actually really be building a whole sculpture walk. And we've started it by putting this first piece of Solon Borglum's with signage so that people understand something about the history. And we're going to be really expanding that. We have a collection of some wonderful sculpture, and we want to place it so that people can actually do a self-guided tour.
Yeah, that would be fabulous. So you'll take a
Yes, they
trip
really
up
enjoy.
there, and
Yeah.
the scenery is beautiful, and then you'll just have the sculptures all around. And
Exactly.
yeah, sounds terrific.
Exactly.
Yeah. So let's talk about some of the things that happen at Silvermine. You know,
Good.
just, you have events there.
We
also.
do. We do. Actually, we're going to have a lot of events. I think public events is something certainly that interests me. It really does fit. It's one of the reasons I felt like this was a good fit for me, and that the board felt that I was a good fit for Silvermine, because I've done a lot of events and I really enjoy bringing the public in. I think one of the things about Silvermine, we're best known for the School of Art. But our galleries are very active, very vibrant. We'll be talking about those. Right. We've expanded the gift shop now, which I'm really seeing as a great destination and great way in to understanding our galleries. And now we're going to be doing a lot more public events. We have a wonderful space. And I want to do, things that you wouldn't necessarily expect, but things that will really kind of be educational in relation to the exhibitions. Some of the things we're doing, we're actually going to have an event that will coincide with the next exhibition. Karen Hilmer is one of the artists, and we're going to do, her work is inspired by the work of the Argentine poet and writer Borges. And so we're going to have a poetry reading, which I think will be really fun.
Of his work?
Yeah, exactly. One of the short stories is going to be read, and then she'll talk about her work and how it's been inspired by
we have an image of her work, which is photographic
It
work?
is. Yeah. It is, and it's actually, I love it because it's actually, it's a photograph. She's actually made an assemblage first. I don't know if that's the word she uses for it.
She designs everything, makes these
little
characters.
She paints the backgrounds, she makes the pieces, and then she shoots what she's created.
So the art is the photography, not the pieces.
Yeah, and yet each one of them is very beautiful unto itself. But yes, her art, she is a guild artist as a photographer. And in this case, she's actually, for the upcoming, she's part of the director's choice. We have a process by which our gallery director actually can select pieces, artists that he would like to represent. Sometimes they're guild artists, many times they're not. It's an opportunity to really branch out and bring in work that he's excited about.
Right. We'll talk a little bit about the guild artists later and how they're chosen and what you're talking about, because there's so many things to talk about.
Right.
So all right. So you have the school, you have the gallery, you have a fabulous bronzing place to make sculpture.
Right.
And then you have a theater there.
Yeah, let me explain about the bronzing, because I think it's actually fun.
Okay.
It's actually part of the school,
Okay.
but we just added it, and it seems very appropriate for an institution that's turning 90 and was started by a sculptor who's best known for bronzes. So it feels very correct. But in fact, this foundry existed. It was there and it was covered over. It was hidden. And we just actually recently did our first official pouring. We invited the funders who helped make that happen.
Yeah, I was there. What was it? Somebody said there's something under here, and something.
Exactly.
No, there's nothing under here, and then someone just went and picked it up, and there it was. It was all that
well,
bronze.
fortunately, the current director of the metal shop has worked at a foundry and knew perfectly well what he was looking at, and was able to really guide us in how to make it work again. So it's very exciting.
Yeah. So it's been there for all these years, and
it's been there all these years. I'm not sure exactly when it stopped being used. I was saying, and I was corrected, I was saying it hadn't been used since the 50s, but I just heard it may have been up until the 70s. In any event, it hasn't been used for a very long time.
70s. You would think it's close, but that was a long time ago.
It's already a long time ago.
Yeah.
So in any event, this is a brand new thing for us, and it's great to revive that.
Right, because
very special.
There's very few places you can go to have big things bronze.
Absolutely. Well, right now we're just doing it for class offerings. We're not actually taking in other people's work to do.
So you have to go there and you have to make a sculpture and
then
in the class, and then
correct. It's a wax.
Right.
Yeah.
But right. So then the events though will be on the grounds or inside. I mean, or all different kinds of events is what you're planning.
Yeah, all different. We do have a space. We call it the auditorium. It's the Sarah Victoria Hall, which was renovated. It's called Sarah Victoria Hall.
Okay.
It's named for the daughter, actually, of the funder, who helped us renovate this and make it a wonderful space. So it's we also call it the auditorium. But we're going to do a lot of events. A lot of events do happen there. And we're going to have a film screening coming up, which is of a film called Years of the Making, which features a number of Guild artists.
Oh, I love this, that are aged
70 to 95.
That's fabulous.
At the time that it was made, 70 to 95. And it's great. We're going to have a panel which will include the filmmakers, the artist who was the inspiration for it. It'll be moderated by Ann Chernow, and it'll include 2 of our faculty members. Because our faculty is very illustrious. Yes. It's actually well known as our Guild artists, obviously.
Right. And you have a lot of events planning. I mean, we're just talking about these 2, but you have to keep checking back on your website.
Yes, please, www.silvermineart.org. But a couple of the ones coming up right after that, we're going to have Jazz Brunch, which hopefully will continue on.
That sounds
so it won't be just
so
this now.
You're trying to make it a monthly thing or something?
Well, I don't know the schedule yet, but so check back on the website.
Okay.
But it won't be a one-time thing. It's something we're going to try and actually do. And then we're going to be looking for some artists that really make sense relative to what we're doing already. We're going to be having, I'm pretty excited about, we're actually going to have a young artist, filmmaker, and indie rock musician, Brent Green, is going to be coming in February. And between his engagements at the Boston Museum of Fine Arts and the Walkers, so I'm pretty excited about that. That's not bad company.
So
we're going to do a film and some music. So we'll be doing a number of different things. There was actually a music series for 50 years at Silvermine. I think music is a very important part. And over the years, throughout its history, Silvermine's been the home to theater, dance, music, and I think that we really want to restore that. We really want to encourage that artistic
have a place.
Experimentation.
Right, have a place where people can go close by that can, that sounds fabulous.
Correct.
Sounds terrific. You have a lot of ideas that you're bringing with you. It is a good fit that you're there. Yeah. So you mentioned Karen Hilmer.
Yes.
But there's someone else also. There's Gonzalez.
Sergio Gonzalez Tornero. Yes. And Karen's we talked about a little bit. So Sergio will have a solo show at the same time. And Sergio's work, which is obviously red and white, but as I understand it, Sergio is actually Chilean born. And he feels that black's a little too somber. So he substitutes red. So red is a much happier color, much more full of life. And most, if not all, of his paintings are in fact red and white.
Are they big? Are they large
they
paintings?
Are. Well, they run the gamut, but yes, many of them are large scale. Yeah.
And is he a Guild member also?
Yes, he is. And has been for a long time.
So let's discuss this a little bit. A Guild member is someone that has been juried in.
Correct, by a jury of their peers. So it's other Guild members who are, there's an extensive jurying process.
Right.
Twice a year. New members, it's an open call for new members.
Okay.
And the exhibition, a lot of the images we're going to be looking at are of 11 of the artists that were juried in this past year.
So twice a year you have this, and maybe
Correct.
you'll pick 6 at a time?
There's not a set number. I mean, I'm told sometimes nobody gets in. I think it really depends. It happens this time that it was 6 one time and 5 the other. I don't know the pattern well enough to know.
But just listening to
happens.
you, the shows obviously are not all from the members. Sometimes
No,
you have
they're
other.
not. That's
Sometimes you have
correct.
outside, like you're having this one person from Boston.
That's correct.
Have
Well,
a
and
show.
the current, even for the exhibition, that's for an event. We definitely branch.
Okay.
But within the exhibit schedule, absolutely. There are always, the annual new members show is very much anticipated because it's a great time to see who's coming in and what the future is going to bring for that. But it's also very important, and we do have other guild group shows and solo shows. But in addition, we also have right now, there was a nationally juried photography exhibition. In the spring, we'll be hosting the 62nd annual Art of the Northeast exhibition, which is a juried show from all over New England. And actually, there are calls for submissions now in Art New England, and we definitely branch out for that. And actually, the curator for this next one is, I don't know how to pronounce his name, Tom Eckles. He's the executive director of the Bard Curatorial Studies program, which I think is going to be very exciting. So,
well, you always have fabulous jurors, I think, with the Northeast.
Always interesting jurors. I think it's great for us to have different perspectives. So twice a year, there are national juried shows. This coming year will be Art of the Northeast and also Craft. Craft USA. We do triennials. So Art of the Northeast stays constant, and then we do different triennials. So.
Okay. And the space is beautiful where everything, you have the beautiful gallery space. It's a whole building,
and I think
really.
our gallery director does a wonderful job of hanging the shows. They're all professionally hung and beautiful.
You want to mention Jeff?
I will. Jeff Muller is our gallery director. Thank you. Yes, I should, because he brings a whole level of professionalism and expertise. He's teaching now, teaching art history, and has a very good sense of what's going on there. He's been there a little over 3 years, and I think he brings a wonderful. I think people really are very happy with the way that the shows are looking.
He's often there, present. If you go visit the galleries, he will be there to show you around and talk about the work. And how long do the shows usually run?
They're always 6 weeks. They're always 6 weeks, which is a pretty rigorous turnaround time. So,
but it's nice to be able to get in the paper and.
It's nice, and it also means that people know they can go back again in a few more weeks, and it'll be something new to see. And each show opens with an opening, so which is free and open to the public, and we do try to get the word out about those. One of the things, what we're saying with all of these things, I think it's really important that we're opening our doors. The Guild is very important to it, the school is very important to it, but we really want to be a welcoming community facility, and community is a broad reach. As you'll see when we look at the artists, we're talking about a broad, tri-state region.
New Jersey, you have
tri-state region.
Tri-state region.
And we have members from much farther, lots of states. But I think as far as what we really see as our visiting community, certainly all of Fairfield County, all of Westchester County, people come from the city.
Yeah, it's not far from here. It's like
not
20 minutes or something like that to get there.
Exactly.
It sounds like it's.
And we're trying to pull from all of Connecticut as well. So I think that's very important. And it's very important that we feel that people know that there'll always be something. That's why I'm so excited about the sculpture walk. That there is always something. The gallery is a year-round facility. The school is a year-round facility. I think it's very important that people know that any day they can just come and wander and really have a good art experience, because we are multi-levels of an art experience.
Do you think the sculpture walk will be open even if the gallery is not open?
For sure.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
absolutely. So you can walk around the grounds?
Yeah,
that sounds great.
Absolutely. It is already. It's just that these pieces exist. Our collection is there. Some of them are there. There are many pieces on the grounds right now. What we're going to be doing, Jeff and I have some schemes for reposition, and he's giving some thought to a sequence that will make sense, and some signage that will really help people understand where we fit in the scheme of art, which I think is really important.
That's great. Let's talk about the next open show, which is the newest members.
Correct.
And we don't have too much time, so
Correct.
let's just
we
go.
Don't? Okay.
Let's go a little bit through.
You're the one who knows.
Because I think that it gives you an overview of the diversity of artists that you have there.
Yeah.
And so, first of all, the classes. You have, let's talk. One of your
good. And I think you were going to show our beautiful catalog.
Oh, yes. It is. It's a beautiful catalog. It's fabulous. So
which actually,
the 100 classes, something like that?
Yeah, there are a lot of classes, and we have 4,000 students, and those catalogs go to, we send 20,000 of them out, so they go to all of the area, including here. I mean, throughout Westchester, obviously, we draw quite a lot of students. Right. Offerings are, we're very multidisciplinary in terms of, I mean, obviously, we're visual arts in terms of the school offerings, although we do have a writing class right now. So, it is all of the disciplines.
Film classes?
We have photography, digital and film photography. We have a dark room, which we're expanding. And we have the bronze I mentioned. We have stone sculpture, metal sculpture, ceramics, drawing, painting, mixed media, you name it.
We've got
jewelry.
You're wearing.
Yes, I'm a model. I'm a model for our jewelry. So this is actually a faculty member.
Which gives you an idea of the fabulous gift shop.
Exactly. They are available there. Yeah. And these happen to be a faculty member, Rachel Wagon-Roth.
So I started this by saying the show. One of the people that are in the show is one of your faculty members.
Yes, Jane Lubin. Yeah, Jane Lubin, who's actually from Westport. She's a multimedia artist, and she actually teaches a class on altered books, which is she actually also is a medical doctor, which I find fascinating. She's an eye surgeon.
Well, she's into detail. She's into detail. So the books and the
she is, and she really focuses. She likes to think about the way people focus their seeing. So I think she was inspired by Dadaism and Surrealism and collage, and that's really what she's working with. It's
mixed media. It's sort of painting and collages, and then you have
and
then the next slide we have is this Amy Bilden.
Yeah, she's actually from Greenwich, and all of the work I've seen of hers, I don't know the full range, and I'm excited to see it in the show, but the work I've seen of her is all fiber arts, which is incredible. She's in as a sculptor, and I think it's interesting to note that of the 11 artists that have been juried in this time, we've got painters, sculptors, printmakers, photographers, a potter, and people who are doing drawing. So I think it's great. It shows that it is vibrant and multidisciplinary.
And I think the great thing about the show is it's not like you have one piece from each artist.
No,
you really do a body of work.
Correct.
Because the space is big.
Correct.
You take a ride up there, you really see a great show.
Right.
It's not just go in and see one room. There's several rooms of work.
Right. Multiple galleries. Yeah, and Amy's work, one of the things about that is that it's fiber art, and as I understand, there's often been this great divide between craft and high art, and I think she's been walking that line brilliantly. So I think she's one of the young artists that actually I think is finding a way to do the detailed craft work and bring it into a form which it really definitely is her artwork.
It is a fine line. I often think, why is it called the Craft Museum? It's fabulous art.
Right.
The next person that we want to look at is just quickly look at
a local
Karen. Well, Karen Brock's work quickly.
Carrie Brock.
It's great that she gets her name out there 2 or 3 times.
She'd be unhappy if it was wrong. Exactly. Wonderful printmaker.
And then the next person is a local artist for us in Westchester, Sharon Cavagnolo, who I happen to know. Right, and her work is very interesting.
Yeah, she's from Mount Kisco, and she does abstract landscapes, but with a very painterly approach, which I think is fascinating.
Yeah, very fascinating. She has a background in design, so they're very interesting. A lot of little things that are going on.
You've probably seen much more of her work than I have, so it's great.
So she's a new member.
I'm very happy to be seeing a lot more of her, and she's
I thought she was in Chappaqua, which is, but maybe Mount Kisco, maybe on the border.
We have the same thing. Kisco, I don't know.
We have the same thing here. We're right. Everything is little together here.
She's listed as Mount Kisco on everything we've sent out, so I apologize.
All right, and the next man I thought was very interesting because he
Yes.
really into the environment.
Yes, J. Henry Fair, who is actually from New York City and a photographer. He is into the environment. He's an environmentalist as well as an artist. And he's married the two. He's really taking photographs which are provocative of mainly of natural disasters, things where there's been spills or real harm to the environment. And yet he says that he's really trying to make it still an aesthetic response to it, that he wants to make it be a beautiful image that's something that actually is kind of horrifying.
I think it's interesting because you're drawn to it because of the beauty of it.
And then you realize what it is.
And then you realize what it is, and you
Exactly.
say, and so there's this dynamic
Which is
going
very
on.
strong.
Yeah.
Very strong. Whereas
Yeah.
if it was just like a poster saying, here's a bad thing happening, you
Right.
would actually pull yourself away.
You might not look at it.
You pull yourself away from
Right.
it. So I think he's onto something very striking here.
And this is photography.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is
And then
photography.
the next one is a painter.
Right.
John.
John Harris, and those are wonderful, evocative images of water. He really is working with the patterns and the spirit and the rhythms.
They become abstract
of water,
paintings,
abstract
but, yeah,
paintings. Yeah, but he's really highlighting the different aspects
Right.
of water, which
Yeah,
I
that
think
one's
is really
beautiful.
really gorgeous.
Let's go quickly through this potter, I think, Mindy Horn.
Mindy Horn, yeah,
Just
who
quickly.
actually is, has been working at the school. She's a wonderful potter. She's been a student at the school for a long time.
And then this
just
last
came
one we'll talk about, and then we'll go quickly through the others. Anne?
Anka?
No. Anka?
Anka Pedvis, who's also from New York City,
Okay.
interestingly enough. And she actually, her work is inspired. She was collecting and then manipulating photographic material from between 1940 and 1960. And
They're
then,
sort of biographical, autobiographical.
Yeah, and it led to her then having a painterly reimagination of what is portraits. One of the things Jeff said I should note on this, because you can't get a sense of scale when you're looking at an image like this, is that most of hers are very large, that they're actually often 60 inches by 90 inches, so big. We're talking large scale, which is a very interesting way of thinking about portrait, and obviously it makes a very powerful statement. I find her work fascinating, really interesting.
I thought it was interesting. She works very quickly. This is part of it. She used a word that I'd never heard before.
Which was?
Cupris or cugis or
Can't
something
help you
like
there.
that.
Sorry.
I had to look it up, and then quick sketching.
I'm
then
afraid
let's
that's outside of my...
It should be mine. I'm messing up everything today. But so, all right. So then let's look at Connie. Is it Connie Pfeiffer?
Pfeiffer, yes.
Pfeiffer's work.
Pfeiffer.
And we'll just go quickly through the rest of them. Because the next one is called, the artist is
Margaret Rolicki, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And then the last one
Painter.
is Anita
Seuss, who does drawings, very detailed, beautiful drawings.
Are they large or?
The ones I've seen are quite small.
Okay.
Yeah, quite small.
And that covers
Again, I
those.
don't know the full body.
Yeah.
And I'm waiting to see
you know,
it.
Well, yeah. People have to. When is the
I'm
opening?
excited to see it.
the
It's actually January 9th. It's coming right up. So
Okay,
January
the
9th.
time?
And it's going to run, the public opening's from 2 to 4 on Sunday, January 9th. And then the show will run until February 20th, which is the day that we're going to do the Brent Green. So we're going to have something going on that way. So we're bracketing with events on both ends.
Brent Green is the film?
With
the
music,
95,
which I'm pretty excited about.
okay.
So, lots of things going on, and this will continue on. You know, I think it's one of the things that we really want to make sure
Very,
we're doing.
very exciting. I'm so happy for you that you found this and you're working there. I think it's great. Thank you so much for coming to our show.
I'm happy we'll have lots to talk about going forward. Thank you very much.
And I hope everyone gets to go to Silvermine. You must see the show and keep going there. And thank you so much for watching.